Time now for your forewarned weather with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy.
I think the air conditioners have been working overtime in a lot of homes around Utah.
Oh, yeah.
And cars.
Yeah,
Goodness, you
right?
step out, you get in the
true.
car, and you're like, oh, put that on high.
You gotta crank it.
I know. And this is just the beginning, friends. I know we're talking about the heat, but it is coming full throttle. We're not even fully into summer. The solstice still a little ways away, right? These are spring temperatures, and they are hot. Take a look. Great sunset. This was a pretty one.
So pretty.
It is nice. The shutterbugs have been out. We always love when you send us your photos. Weather at abc4.com. This one coming from Cedar City. Thank you, Susie and the Hemsworth family. We're just big fans of you guys, and you know the cloud cover started to move in, and Iron County was one of the spots that saw a few pop-ups as we made it through the evening hours. Those temperatures right now have dropped from the highs of the day, but we're still very mild. Look at this. We've got 70s and 80s out there. This feels like July as opposed to June. 93 in St. George right now. We've got 80s on the eastern side of the state. Those numbers will continue to drop along the Wasatch Front. We will see a fairly mild overnight with upper 60s expected, partly cloudy skies and mid-70s as we close out the newscast, and we'll see those numbers in the upper 60s along the Wasatch Front. Partly cloudy skies. You probably noticed the increase of cloud cover. A westerly flow carrying the clouds in here brought a few storms as well. 76 by 9 a.m. We're off to the races. It's going to be a hot one, but we actually have the chance of some storms in northern Utah. We'll get there. Meg caught this one from Salt Lake. Another pretty glow here with the cloud cover out there. Thank you, Meg. Love that. Sun going down later and later. We're getting close to the 9 o'clock sunset. As we look at our satellite radar, you see that westerly flow in motion. There are the showers I was just referencing in the last few hours, crossing I-15, heading into south central Utah and impacting near Lake Powell. Along the Wasatch Front, fairly quiet. We saw some clouds drift through eastern Utah, but tomorrow could be a different story. We have the chance of some dry thunderstorms setting up in northern Utah. We're going to show you exactly what I mean. As we look at the radar right now, still active, but it's over towards Beaver and Beaver County, and then south central Utah in and around Antimony, Loa, Escalante, and Lake Powell. Quiet now from the Uinta Basin. As we head into tomorrow, we have a trough that's going to move inland. As it does, it's come to the Pacific Northwest. The core of that moisture is going to impact areas north of us, but it is going to clip northern Utah. The shortwave trough is going to come through, and it brings the potential for some storms from Cache Valley into Salt Lake County. Now, we could see some strong thunderstorms here, a marginal risk issue, that darker green there, strong to severe storms. When you have a marginal risk, there's a chance that you get a few isolated severe storms. That means we're going to get really gusty winds. We're not expecting a tremendous amount of moisture with the storms we're going to see tomorrow in northern Utah, but we will see strong winds, the possibility of small hail, and abundant lightning. And you can see the areas impacted. That includes southwestern Wyoming, the Uinta Basin, and the surrounding area and the West Desert, as well as the Wasatch Front. So eyes to the skies. With these dry thunderstorms, we see that fire risk really elevated, and we get that elevated risk for the West Desert, but that extends all the way to the western end of the valley. These are areas where we have very dry fire fuels, so our relative humidities, those are the percents that we measure the moisture in our fire fuels, and they're going to be low. On top of that, we will have sustained winds and then a lot of lightning, so any fire start could spread quickly, so that elevated fire risk is there for the West Desert as we head into the midweek. So a bit of a change in the pattern because we've been really quiet along the Wasatch Front. Futurecast showing those storms clearing tonight. Now, it does pick up on storm potential towards Flaming Gorge, Vernal, into Castle Country, and extends all the way through eastern Utah. Not a lot from the Wasatch Front. I know what you're thinking, but as we look at the Futurecast, it really hones in on moisture potential. With dry thunderstorm activity, I think there's a chance for the Wasatch Front to see a storm bubble up, and we would get some gusty, possibly damaging winds from that. Lingering moisture would allow for a pop-up on Thursday afternoon with the help of daytime heating in the same target areas, and then possibly into northwestern Utah. Then we will see drier conditions as we close out the work week. Those dry conditions, well, they come with the heat. Ridge of high pressure in control, really going to drive the bus. Slightly unsettled tomorrow and into Thursday because of that trough moving through. Hotter and drier conditions through the weekend and into next week. You see that area of high pressure. It's got a clockwise flow. That's going to bring a dry southwesterly flow, so the winds will pick up a little bit, and the heat, well, it's going to be on. Nobody is shutting that off for the next 7 days. Triple digits back to back back in the south tomorrow, going 102. We've got 90s in northern Utah. Any storm, dry thunderstorm, could easily cool temperatures, so we'll see what happens. 90s on the eastern side of the state. Moab going for 100 degrees. Oh yeah, that's ahead of schedule. As we look at the next 7 in St. George, we're cooking. The winds pick up Wednesday and Thursday, some blowing dust potential in the south, and possibly some fire concerns. We know those are going to stick around, especially with that triple-digit heat. Wasatch Front with isolated storms for tomorrow. The slight chance in the higher terrain as we get into Thursday. Drier Friday. And we got 90s. We are kicking it in the 90s. Ooh. And we're going to stay there. And that's really above average for this time of year. We usually get to the upper 70s, low 80s, and we would love to stay there for a few weeks. We're lucky if we get a few days. Here we are. Here we are. 90s and triple digits.
There you go.
Bring on summer, I guess.
Well, at least you can see the stars, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay.